Hi, hello everyone. So welcome back to my Twitch stream. And my Monday was great. How was your Monday? So today I focused and I completed a lot of things in my day job. Now let's go back to our IoT solutions. Let's see where we have left on last Saturday. So if anyone newly joining to this stream, so we are taking this IoT Edge series. So we are trying to develop a IoT Edge solution. So the idea behind that is try to create a reference application like how IoT Edge solution overall works and what are the different type of modules we can bring to the IoT Edge solution. So the goal we try to set, and we are trying to create some simple IoT Edge solution real-time scenarios, and how we can bring all the modules and how technically we can do that. So those are the things we are trying to achieve. Let me reduce this sound 1 second. Yeah, so those are the things we are trying to achieve. So if you want to see, this is what we have done in the first session. So we created a custom vision AI application. So in that application we uploaded the images. So we have taken this boat classification images. So we went to kaggle.com and find the different type of image data set. So of those image data set, we took the boat classification image data set. So if you go and see our custom vision project here, we have this boat classification, and we uploaded different types of boats, including cruise, ferry, freight, and gondola, kayak, sail. So we have uploaded different types of boat images, and we tagged that image using the label, and then we trained the image in the custom vision AI. So the training is taking care of tagging the image and taking care of creating the machine learning model based on the images we have uploaded and based on the tags we have done for the images. So we trained that, and based on the training we created a different iterations of machine learning model. So you can still upload the new images, and you can create the new iteration based on your live, based on your real-time project, right? Because whenever there is a new data coming into your domain, then you can add more training images into this project, and you can create iterations of trained models. And even in this iteration you can select which iteration is performed very well based on this performance matrix, and you can select what is the default iteration you need to choose for your production URL. And even the prediction URL you can set based on that iteration. So those things you can manage through that environment variables. Then out of this citation too, we have chosen there are multiple domains available in image classification example, a general, food industry means food industry, retail, those things. So we have taken a general compact domain. What is that compact domain? In the sense using the compact domain, you can export that pre-trained machine learning model into mobile application, into IoT Edge, or in Azure functions. So you can have that everything exported, and you can run that machine learning prediction code in everywhere in the sense in any devices. So instead of hitting the cloud URL endpoint every time or every image you need to predict, you have already the prediction in the pre-trained model is already there. So you can run this prediction on any device without connecting to cloud. You can run it on that on device pre-trained model Core ML, TensorFlow in Android. So those kind of things you can do. So we have done that in our first thing. first session. Then what we have done is like the second session we try to export that in the Docker, and we have fixed few things in the Docker because the default generated export Docker container, that's not working. So we have changed few parameters in that the TensorFlow code, which is generated by this custom mission AI portal. So we have modified that as well. Now what we are trying to do is in today's okay, then we see like how we can create a IoT Edge solution in Visual Studio Code. So those things we have seen. So if you go to our GitHub, /boat classification, you can see like I have put together a repository here with the documentation, and this is the exported Docker code, boat classification YAML. So how to build, how to run locally, all the instructions are here. And the next thing is we did the IoT Edge solution. So this is what we are going to take a look at that today. Okay, so let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. Let me know if desktop sound is too much loud. Give me a second, I will quickly check. Okay, it's not there. Sometimes my desktop audio settings got screwed up. Okay, I think this would be better. Okay. Now let's go back to this IoT Edge solution. So this is what we have looked on like a Saturday. So we created a simple IoT Edge solution using Visual Studio Code itself. Then we created a two modules, ping and pong module, and we see like how we can communicate between modules and how we can send the messages from modules to upstream, basically Azure IoT Hub. So those things we have seen. So today we will continue the same on more detail about like IoT Edge solutions and what are the different configuration available for IoT Edge, and what are the different possibilities we can bring into the module. So those things we will be see, and also we will try to add like some simple sensor module, probably like the Mark 1. I don't have like any real sensor right now. I have ordered few sensors that would be probably coming like tomorrow. So we will be doing like some mocked sensor module from the IoT Edge. So the mock sensor module is going to continuously hit that, continuously send that data into IoT Edge. Then IoT Edge module. Then that module is like filtering that messages. If any threshold set, then that alert only will be uploaded to IoT Hub. But in the meanwhile, we are going to create another dashboard module. I would say like that's a simple HTML application. So whenever there is a sensor, temperature sensor data changes, that would be displayed in that dashboard module. But if any temperature, like I said, went above the threshold or the below the threshold, then it would hit up into the IoT Hub for the alert or monitoring purpose. So this is what we are trying to achieve today, right? So let's see. Let me open the IoT Hub solution we have worked on. So it's in the boat classification, the repository, what I have opened here. So in this boat classification, we have this IoT Edge solution, and I'm opening that in the Visual Studio Code. Okay. So you can go and see like what are the IoT Edge devices in your Azure IoT Hub portal. I'm using IoT Edge extension in the Visual Studio Code so that I can manage creating the deployment and everything from the Visual Studio Code itself. But in the production side, most of the things would be done in like using CI/CD or deployment using Azure DevOps, those kind of things. We would be taking that one a little bit later. First, we will focus on the development part and see like what are the different patterns for this IoT Edge. So we would be focusing on that. Then once we are satisfied with the project, or once we are like happy with the project, at least the MVP, then we would be focusing on the DevOps side. So last Saturday, what we have done is we created this edge device Shiva 001, and this edge device has like different modules. So you can see like these are the system module: edge agent, edge hub, ping module, and pong module. This one I have did for testing purpose, so I just like remove this. So edge agent, edge hub, ping module, and pong module. So these two are system modules, and these two are like a custom modules. So we have created a custom module in our solution here, which includes ping module and pong module. So you can see like in these modules, so today I read like more about this IoT Edge solutions. So you can see each module is like a separate Docker container, right? It's not like the complete entire solution going to be a Docker container. Each and every module is going to be a Docker container, and the IoT Edge agent or the Edge hub, this is like facilitating the communication between either modules in the solution, or modules to IoT hub, or modules to the leaf device. So if you see that the IoT hub or IoT Edge architecture, let me open the IoT Edge architecture. So if you see the IoT Edge architecture, this is not, I'm trying to look at, yeah, Azure IoT Edge device. Yeah, this one is like a little bit close. So you can see like this is the IoT Edge device which is running on the actual device, right? So the IoT Edge device contain like IoT Edge runtime and the Edge hub. So the Edge hub is like facilitating the communication between the modules. So in here you can see like it has telemetry module, insight module, and some Azure function module. You can have like any type of modules here. So this one is taking care of like orchestrating between different modules, right? So in our case, like this is a sensor module. It's continuously emitting that sensor data. Then the IoT hub, what it's doing is it's setting the set of IoT Edge routing rules. What does that mean is, let's go back to our solution. So if you see here in the deployment.template.json, it contains like a different configuration, including like what is the runtime, and what are the system modules for this solution, and what are the custom modules for the solution. So in this case, like if you see that the IoT Edge hub, here we are setting like a different type of routes. So in these routes, you can see like you can set the route like where it should be redirected to. For example, here we have created here two modules. One is ping module and another one is pong module, right? So the ping module to pong module, you are redirecting like whatever the messages that's coming from the ping module, you are redirecting to the brokered endpoint. So this brokered endpoint is like it's brokering between like two different modules. So whatever that is coming from the ping module, you are sending that to the brokered endpoint of pong module here. And from the pong module, we are getting like whatever the messages that's coming from the pong module, we are sending that to the upstream. Upstream means like the IoT hub. So this is where like the IoT edge is coming into the picture, like whatever the messages you can send between these different modules, but one of your like a business logic will decide these are the particular specific messages IoT hub is interested to, right? For example, let's take a health check itself, right? So each and every sensor is doing a health check for like every 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So each sensor module is going to continuously send the data like I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. But if certain threshold or some unhealthy status happened, at the time only you can send the message to IoT hub. That means like you can deploy your custom business logic to determine like what are the messages you can send to the IoT hub to reduce this data sending to the cloud, so that like it would be totally optimized scenarios for the IoT edge devices or the IoT devices without sending like all your data to the internet, right? So that's a concept here. So you can set like a different routes between the modules and also like modules to the IoT hub. So this what we have seen like last Saturday, like how this communication works and how we these things and all work, right? So now let's go back to this architecture again. Yeah, the same thing, like telemetry out is like insight input and insight output action input, and the same thing you can upload to IoT hub as well. So these are the things in like in the IoT edge architecture. But today what we are going to see is we are going to add a new modules like a real-time modules, including the dashboard application, because I didn't see like anywhere how the dashboard application works in the IoT edge application. So today we are going to try that to see like how that works, and also we would be deploying like certain sensor modules or those things to display in the dashboard. So we would be seeing that. So as you see, like every module is the Docker container, so we can extend the capabilities of IoT edge if it runs in the Docker container, right? So let's do that one. Let's have this ping and pong module as it is, but I'm going to remove this route so that it would not be sending the data to IoT hub. I just comment this out. I cannot comment that. Okay, I just take this, have it in your notes here, so that if I need to use, then I can use that later. Okay, so here ping module, pong module. Now let's create a sensor module, right? There is already a simulated sensor available in like Azure IoT Edge store. Before going that, do you know like what is Azure IoT Edge store, right? So Azure IoT Edge store is where you are developing and deploying a IoT Edge modules into the marketplace. So IoT Edge store is like a marketplace for your IoT Edge modules. Right now they are having like some common modules such as like detecting the sentiment from the text or language understanding. I'm not sure like whether they are having the customization, but the telemetrics. So those kind of SQLite storage. So those are the different common IoT Edge modules. It's already in that the store. I think where it is, Azure IoT Edge module store. Yeah, here it is. Marketplace. So you can see like the marketplace contains a common thing. Where it is, okay, yeah, you can see it here. Like if you go to the Azure marketplace and IoT Edge modules, you can see like a certain modules already available here, including like Redis Edge, and SQLite. So this is like where you can store even like a SQL servers module. So you can like store all your data in the SQL server module that is running in the IoT Edge solutions, right? Um, and serial port receiver, blob storage. Some of the things like I really interested in is SQLite for storing like some data for the IoT Edge device. Then the Modbus to read the data from Modbus devices and sending that to the IoT hub. And also Redis Edge and cross IoT Edge streaming analytics. So these are the packages I'm interested in. Even like we can develop on IoT Edge modules and publish this one. I think it's available. It's for like a general availability, so you can do that one. You can publish your own modules into the marketplace. So they already have this simulated temperature sensor by Microsoft. So this module is like going to simulate the temperature sensor to send that to the IoT hub device. One second. I'm still wondering like why my desktop sound is not coming. In stream because I added that in the desktop audio here. These things are moving, so that means it's working. You may hear an echo back. I'm fine tuning this stream settings. Okay, let it be. I think at least like my sound is working, right? So these are the things. It's already available in this Azure IoT Edge module marketplace, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to do the same thing in the simulated temperature sensor. I see like the simulated temperature sensor in Microsoft GitHub. They are using C# to generate. Already, anyhow, like we can use the same thing, but what I am going to do is I'm going to create a similar thing for Node.js in our IoT Edge solution, so that like I can modify based on our needs, right? So to create a IoT Edge module, Command Shift P, Azure IoT Edge, create, not the create one, there is a module, add IoT Edge module. So here I am choosing the deployment template.json, and the module is going to be the Node.js modules. And I name this as a temperature sensor module. I want to follow like the naming pattern similar to that the other Node.js application, but somehow these modules and configuration, it's not allowing me to set that up. So let me call this as a temperature sensor module, or I just call like a temperature sensor alone. And creating this, so this is adding a new Node.js IoT Edge module. So it's executing that Yeoman with this generator Azure IoT Edge module, and the name is temperature sensor. So it's going to create this temperature sensor module into our IoT Edge solutions. Let's give some time. dynamic follow button is hiding me. Yeah. Okay, now it's great. Yeah, now let's coming back to this the generated code. So you can see like the temperature sensor. So it created this node.js module. Node.js module, like it contains a package.json and app.js file, which is the index file. Excuse me. So it has a different Docker image for different environment, including AMD 64 and ARM v7 image. Our emulator is running on AMD 64, so it would be choosing this Docker file. So that's not that issue here. Next thing is app.js. So this is what we are trying to take a look at that, right? So app.js contains it's getting the client from environment and opening the IoT Edge instance. It's opening that the IoT Edge client, and once it's opened, the IoT Hub module client is initialized. So whenever there is an input message is coming, then it's doing the piping message. Basically, that is sending that output event to this module. So let's consider like this module, every IoT Edge module, consider that as a modular architecture components, right? So it really doesn't need to worry about, it really doesn't need to aware of like what are the other modules available in that solution. So you are bringing like a lot of modules, and that for example like a temperature sensor module that is only focusing on like the temperature sensor. It doesn't need to worry about like how it's going to look like or what are the other sensors available in that solution. So if you see like this is the plug and play architecture, right? For example, if you are having like multiple sensor module, and you are, let's take an example for like a gas detection company, right? So in the gas detection, you are having like different gas sensors. For example, O2, CO2, methane. So it's detecting like a different gases. So you can deploy like each gas module as a separate sensor modules. Then whenever device going with a specific pack of gas sensors, then you can pull like the specific gas sensor modules only, and it doesn't need to worry about like what are the other thing. It's just worrying about like its own event, what is the input and what is the output. So you can have, you can like design the application in that way, so that like you don't need to worry about like thing, everything will be plug and play based on this based on the route you are trying to set. So for example, in this temperature sensor module, we are trying to focus only on that the temperature thing, right? So what we are going to do is, let's have as this, I'm going to remove couple of generated code. So I would be removing this, and this also. I would call this as a temperature, or like a initialize method. And I'm going to have a function here, function initialize. So what's that going to do is, client, it is different. Am I missing anything here? Yeah, function initialize. Okay, function initialize. Then in this one, probably pause the client here. So in this one, I'm going to set the interval, and for every 5 seconds, I'm going to send the output event temperature and that message. So if we go and construct the message here, so where message equal to new message of data, and the data is going to be temperature. This is some random number, let's say like 50 here, and the timestamp when that is taken. So new date, get time, and message is accepting only the JSON.stringify. Oh, my Siri. I didn't say anything Siri, right? So it did. My Siri startup. JSON.stringify of data. So what it's going to do is every 5 seconds it's going to send the data to that the temperature output. So it's going to just emit the data like a temperature every 5 seconds. Let me remove these things. Okay, so here I can just like print that sending temperature message. Okay, so I'm just removing this. So this is the callback, so I'm just like setting the callback on every message, so it would be doing console log, so that we can see that log statements from that from the debugger or from the terminal. Okay, so once the sensor module is connected, it's going to initialize the sensor, and the sensor is going to send the data every 5 seconds. Right now we need to generate random number here, so that like we are seeing how much temperature. It's flexible, and also like in the dashboard we can see how the data is like reflected in the dashboard. So do you know like what are the what's the range for the temperature? So let's go see like a temperature sensor range. Surface temperature ranging from -70 to 1000. I don't think like we need that much. Weather temperature range. See here, Miami is 80. All other places are like freezing, at least not here. Atlanta 58, Miami is 80. Next week, that would be awesome. Okay, let's go back to this the temperature itself. So let's assume like so temperature 50. So let's assume we are going to select from, I would say like 0 to 80, or 0 to 80 would be fine. So we need to generate a random number from 0 to 80. this is the one thing, whenever I need to create a random number, I always forget like how to create. So I just go like a generate random number between this and this, then it would give like some simple function, then I just copy and do that. I'm doing this one for like every time I came and face this. Okay, so map.random between numbers. I need between numbers. Okay, so this is what I want. So going back to our Visual Studio Code here, so random in from interval min and max, it's doing map.floor and map.random. So here what I am going to do is 0 to 80, right? So this temperature sensor module, it's going to send the data every 5 seconds, and it's going to create generate a random temperature from 0 to 80 and sending that to the output event. We didn't set up that route yet, but we will see like whether this temperature sensor is deploying. So Command Shift P, Azure IoT Edge, build and run IoT Edge solution in simulator. So I will just choose deploy. Before that, hold on a second. I'm going to deployment debug template.json. I'm just making sure is our temperature sensor module is added, and it's sending message to IoT hub here. I don't want this one. We are just going to focus only on the temperature sensor. And deployment template.json, same thing, temperature sensor to IoT hub. Okay, so I'm building and running the IoT Edge solution simulator, choosing the deployment debug template.json so that I can debug from my Visual Studio Code itself. So it's building the Docker container, Docker images, everything. Okay, it's built the temperature sensor Docker as well. Now it's trying to run this. Okay, it's stopping existing modules in the IoT Edge solution. So I'm running IoT Edge in the simulator itself from the Visual Studio Code. So once we deploy into the Raspberry Pi or any actual device, then at the time we would be creating the deployment either from here for the single device, or you can deploy from that Azure IoT portal itself. Right now, like, we are just playing how these things work, how the communication between modules work. So those things we are trying to see from our emulator itself. Okay, I got some error. Same thing. So we are creating like multiple Node.js modules, right? So if you go to this deployment debug template.json, it's setting like it's setting the debug port, the same port for all modules. We have fixed that one like last Saturday. So here 9229, 9230. Now we have created the new module that also 9229 only. It should not be, it should be a new port. So I'm just opening the 9231 port, or I can run like a without the debug module. Anyhow, like, I want to debug this IoT Edge module, so let's change this one. I think it would be better whenever they are generating this IoT modules, we are finding like what are the port number, at least like they're asking what port number do you want. Probably we will see whether we can make a pull request on that. So in this debug I'm exposing 9231, and in this also exposing 9231. Let me build and run again. Okay, stopping this. Let's run that. I worked on the IoT hub, no, but I'm starting liking this IoT Edge solution because this is like a complete modular architecture, so that like we can like develop a separate modules and reuse between the different IoT Edge solutions. So I really like this approach, but couple of tests I need to do before I'm 100% confident on this one. Let's do that as well while we are learning. So it's created this thing, and I got another error, client.send output event. So going back to this temperature sensor, okay, the initialize I didn't pass the client, that's why. So let me pass the client here, client set interval, sending the data. Okay, I'm stopping and running it again. I didn't pass a client object here. And also I need to try like how the TypeScript module works. It doesn't matter anyhow, like each and every module is another small application. So we can like we can create a TypeScript and do the build process here, and just like in the Docker file we can just include the disk directory alone. We can do that, but right now like let's keep it simple, do that TypeScript part alone. Okay, the temperature sensor IoT hub module client initialized. Still I am getting the same data. Why? Still I am getting the same error. Client.send output event of undefined. I am sending the client here. Is it not picking up? Okay, I'm going to stop this. Let's do the refresh here. Okay, hopefully I stop this. Now let's build it again. Is it taking from the cache? It's build. Okay, this is the Pong module. It's built the temperature sensor module as well. So it's copying. Why it's using cache here? Okay, temperature sensor. Let's see. IoT Edge hub device that started. Temperature sensor started. Ping module started. I'm getting the same error. Oh, why? IoT Edge. Is there any stop? No. Deploy. I'm trying to build. Okay, this build and push is to build the push thing. Okay. I don't know. IoT Edge. There is a command for this, right? Or let's do the Docker PS. Docker images. Okay, I'm going to remove this image. Let's see. So Docker remove image. How to remove the Docker image? Docker remove image by id. Docker remove image by id. Docker RMI. Yeah. So going back to Visual Studio Code terminal here, Docker RMI, and I'm removing the image ID. Let's see. Okay, must be forced. I'm passing the force flag. It's deleted. Now I will try to build it again. It should be building the new image, right? I don't know why I have changed the code, so it should be picking up, it should be rebuilding the application, but it's taking from the cache. Even if this is not working, I'm going to completely prune the Docker images. Okay, temperature sensor added, edge hub is added. It's starting thing, temperature sensor, model client initialized. I'm getting the same error. What's going on? App.js, I'm sending this data in the client, it's not. Why that is happening? Okay, let me put a breakpoint here, and let it be started. Temperature sensor exited with the code. Okay, anyhow, I'm going to do the remote debug here. So the code is running in the emulator, I'm doing the remote debug stuff. Okay, it's hitting the breakpoint, but it's not the actual code. Did you see, like, it's not sending into the actual code, it's somewhere. So that means, like, the code is not refreshed yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prune the Docker images here. So Docker remove all images. Yeah, so I'm going to remove all images from the Docker. Somehow it's cached, so I'm just removing it. Force here, and removing container also. Ah, okay, let me run the solution here again. Okay, it's building these modules from the IoT Edge solution. Why it's still using cache. Okay, it's running. It's pulling like a Docker container since we have removed Docker container. Now let's see. Maybe let me debug that as well. So you can go and do the remote debug. So this would be debugging the code which is running in the emulator. Okay, I think still we are having that issue. So that means like the client is not available into this set interval. I'm not sure like why, because it's in this message scope, right? Okay, let me try it again. I'm still wondering like whether Docker, because it's still using the cache. Docker remove all containers. Images. So this one to delete all containers. So I'm going to delete that. Force probably. Okay, now deleting all images. Okay, now if I am coming and okay, before that probably this client is not coming inside here. Let me do what we can do. Okay, let me just put it in here itself, then see like why the client is not coming. Let me remove this. So what we are doing is setting interval, sending the data, getting the random interval from 0 to 80 and timestamp. Okay, so now I'm trying to build run IoT Edge solution in simulator using deployment debug template.json so that I can debug that later. It's trying to build the IoT Edge solution again. Let's see. In the meanwhile, I will check something here. Okay, it's building all the sensor module containers. It's successfully building and tagging based on the package.json thing, I think. So whenever you want to push the new code into that sensor module, then you are like upgrading that package.json, then that would be taking care of tagging a new tag when the Docker container is built. So creating Edge hub dev ping module temperature sensor and pong module. Okay, Edge hub dev. You can see like it's using this key, it's storing the key here. So if you go and look at that the Edge hub device container, you can see the keys here. I think it says like the keys will not be encrypted at rest, and it's setting data protection keys as a key repository. Okay, so client authenticated, all the sensor module get authenticated, and it's binding to message channel. Still I'm getting this error. What's the problem here in this send output event? Let me go back to the ping module, because exactly we are doing the same thing there as well. Send output event, right? Oh man, I missed the case. It was like this, but it should be caps event. Come on, that's the problem. Sometimes it's like too silly for that problem, right? Okay, so it's stop and starting again. I updated the code. I think somehow I'm getting stuck into this problem. Okay, I'm going to stop this. IoT Edge. 1 second, guys. IoT Edge. Stop Docker containers. So in the app, send output event. So I changed here as well. Now if I'm trying to build, or let's do Docker remove image temperature sensor. It says unable to delete. Okay, going to the Docker here, opening the images, and if it is a temperature sensor, trying to remove the image. Okay, unable to Docker RMI Docker RMI force. Oh, it's running by the container, that's why. So I need to stop this container. stop the container, remove it. Okay, now try to delete the image. It's deleted. Okay, now if I am trying to build the solution, it's trying to build it. Hopefully this time it should be doing correctly. Okay, so it's asking me new password. That means it's created a new one. So you can see here like the copy app.js, it's not using it from cache. So that's what I'm looking for when it's trying to build the container, because we have modified the files, so it should be re-executing the docker steps again. Okay, it's stopping ping module, pong module, edge hub device, and everything. Okay, I thought like today I I can able to complete the dashboard as well. Temperature sensor got initialized. Okay, temperature sensor starts sending the temperature message status. So if you go to this IoT hub devices here, trying to monitoring device to cloud, you can see like what module is sending the data to IoT hub and what is the data. So here it's like a 2820 and the timestamp as well. So this is fine right here. Now what we are going to do is creating a dashboard. So let's before that I will commit this one so that we would not be losing the our code. So git status, git add, git adding temperature sensor module. Okay, so now next thing what we are going to do is creating a dashboard module. So we created this temperature sensor module that's randomly selecting a temperature and sending that to the output event. Now what we are going to do is creating a custom module that is a dashboard module. So I'm going to have like a simple HTML application with the WebSocket probably. Let's see. So I'm going to add a new IoT Edge module, adding that in the deployment template.json. I'm going to use the Node.js SDK module, but you can use like C# module, Python, C or Java module. So I would stick with the JavaScript here, Node.js module here, and call that as a dashboard. So this dashboard module is going to get the data from temperature sensor and display in the UI, so that whenever it's running in the IoT edge device, it would be displaying like what is the current sensor value there, right? So let it execute this Azure IoT Edge module generator, human generator, that would be creating the dashboard module. Okay, it's still creating. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to create a client application in this dashboard module, and also a small server application, so that like the WebSocket thing will be working. So let's do that one. So going back to this dashboard, we have this app.js file, right? It already has like this default generated code. So I'm just going to have only the client connection code, and I'm going to remove this. Now the next thing I need to do is going back inside this dashboard, cd dash cd IoT Edge solution, cd what's that, modules dashboard, right? So for okay, so this is like connecting with the node module, right? So for that I need some node script running in, that is our app.js. So if you go to our docker file, you can see like it's starting the app.js only. So what this app.js going to do is, it's not only going to receive this, it's going to start the express server, so that it would be hosting some static HTML file to display in the dashboard. So let's do this thing. Let's install like couple of package for this, like express. I think you can install from the package.json here itself. So let's do the express here for simple web server. Then what are the other things you need to do is socket.io, socket.io. This is for WebSocket connection, so that like it would be real time updates to the dashboard. Okay, so we have added these two things. Now the next thing is we need to create the client application also. So for that one, let's how to handle this thing. Let's create a client directory. In this client directory, let's create some React app. Create React app npx. So I'm going to create a simple React app and going to add the socket client for React application, and also uh, we are going to display like some small card to display the dynamic temperature stuff. So execute this React app. Let's call that as a dashboard app, or like I would call like a dashboard app itself. So it's going to create the React application. Then the next step is we are going to add a socket client. So let it install all these packages. Okay, in the meanwhile, let me take a small break and come back. Hey, I'm back again. I'm hungry. I'm having my dinner. Okay, it's installing the create React application. So once this is done, then probably we will be adding a socket.io client library. So that so this is for the overall thing. The temperature sensor is continuously sending the data. Then we are going to set the route in IoT Edge solution that would be redirecting to the dashboard module, right? So in the dashboard module, we are going to receive that input event from the IoT Edge hub. So basically that's the input event that's coming from the temperature sensor. So once we get the input event, we are getting the data, the temperature sensor data, and sending that to the socket IO server, socket IO server. So all the socket IO client would be updated with the data. So for in our case, the client application is the socket IO client, and the Node.js IoT Edge module, that's a socket IO server. So we are going to have the communication between these things. So let's play with those stuff. So it says like a cd dashboard app npm start. Before that, I will do some cleanup here. I don't need this client. Yeah, it created the dashboard app in like top of the directory itself. So I'm going to clear the client. I have this dashboard app. So going inside the dashboard app and npm start. So it's going to start the React application with the default, the boilerplate generated code. Okay, spinning the server in localhost 3000. Did it ask for any permission here? It just asks the permission to open the Chrome, right? I don't know why it's taking so much time. Localhost 3000. So you can see that the React application that's that started here, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to add the socket IO client to this React. So if you go to dashboard app here, that's another thing. It contains like too much module. Let's take a look at that. Is there a server JS here? No, right? Service worker. It doesn't have the server.js. That means like it's just running in the development server, right? So let's have as it is here. So in the package.json, what we need to do is in the dependency we need to in we need to install socket.io client or socket.io. What's socket.io client library? So if I go back socket.io client, so there is a client API. Okay, this is what I want. Yeah, this is what I want. So socket.io React. Okay, let me. So let's go back to the code here. I think socket.io client. So we implemented the socket.io in the server, but in the React thing, we are creating the socket client socket.io client module. Yeah, here it is. So the version, let's pick up the 220. So the socket.io client would also be installed here. So if I'm doing npm install, it should install the socket.io client. Okay, let it install that. Okay, to install this thing. Now what we need to do is in our React code, if I'm going back to this source app.js, I'm going to remove this header. Instead, I'm going to just have a temperature card or something. And in this thing, I'm going to display the state here, for example, temperature, right? So let's go to the constructor super this dot state temperature, that's going to be empty first. Okay, Then we need to initialize the socket IO client. So let's do that in the component did mount. Component did mount. So in the component did mount, we are going to create a socket. In our case, it's a WebSocket client that is okay. I think something from here, right? Import from socket.io/client. So here it should be socket IO client. So what we are going to do is we are creating a client with the endpoint. So if we go here, you can see like the socket IO client that has the option. So that option is nothing but the URI, the endpoint here. So the endpoint would be also endpoint. In our case, it's a localhost 3000. Okay, localhost 3000 is the server. What's app.js? This one we didn't run the date. Let's say like 3001. So what it's going to do is creating the socket IO client state.endpoint. Then on socket.on temperature input, or like sensor temperature. Okay, temperature input. Then what we are going to do is get the data that contains the temperature. Then we are going to set the state here. So this dot set state is temperature that is coming as a data dot temperature. Okay, so we are calling that in the set state thing. So what we have done in React client is like whenever there is we are connecting to the socket using the endpoint 3001, we are going to set up this server still. So whenever there is a temperature input coming from the socket, we set the state into this client. So this is fine, right? Now go back to our app.js here. So what we are going to do is we are going to install the package that includes the Express and the socket IO server. So let's do npm install again here. So it installed. Now we need to set up the server for this. So so let's do the Express server. Requires Express. Then the next thing is socket IO. Requires socket IO. Require, it's a require socket IO. Then the next thing is we have, so these are the things that is coming for the IoT hub. So here, so the first thing is we need to create the HTTP server, require HTTP. So server equal to http dot create server. Let me put it here. So server equal to http dot create server. So we are creating the server, but while creating the server you need to pause the app. That app is nothing but Express. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is create the IO server. That's the socket IO that's taking the server as input. So here in our case it's the server, right? So we are creating, okay, basically we are creating the Express app and creating the HTTP server, and we are passing that server as a socket IO constructor here, so that it would be creating the WebSocket server. So the next thing what we need to do is we need to start listening the server here. So let's go and do that server dot listen. Either it would be coming from process.environment port or what we have provided 3001. So this should be console.log server is running. Okay, so this one we have created, whatever that is fine. Okay, now the next thing what we need to do is we need to send the message to the client from this IO server whenever there is a data that is coming on here. So for that one, one second, I'm just looking like this is socket.init. Okay, so let's do that client dot on. I think it's on. We have done the similar thing in Pong module here. Client dot on. Let's do the same thing. Client dot on here, input message. So temperature input message only. So in this input message, if input name is temperature input, yeah, input name is temperature input. The next thing what we are going to do is we are going to emit that in the socket that says like a temperature input or input name, and the data is message dot, I think message. If it need, then probably we can just like parse it. So that's a message. So whenever there is an input message that's coming into the server, then we are sending that into that the IO socket stuff. Before that, we will just make sure this IO, this WebSocket server and our React.js application is connected. So what we are going to do is IO.on connection. That would be socket. So once a client connected, we would be getting this event here. So I can say like console.log client connected, right? So let me run this one locally to see like whether WebSocket and WebSocket client is connected. Then let's do that with the IoT Edge modules. So first thing, I'm going to run the app.js. Oh, it's expecting IoT Edge workload URI and all, because it's taking from the client environment here. So how to test this one? Okay, let me comment this just for time's sake. I'm trying to test like the WebSocket connection between server and that the React.js application, what we have created for dashboard. So server is running. Now the next thing is I'm going to dashboard app. Port classification, IoT modules, dashboard, npm start. Oh, okay, I have to go to this one. Npm run start. That's starting the dashboard application. Let's see. Okay, temperature is not defined, no under. Line number 26. Dashboard app.js, line number 26. Oh, this start temperature. Ah, you can see here like the client is connected. So we created the WebSocket server and the client is connected here. Let's see whether our div is displaying here, div id root, div class app, div class temperature code, and there is no temperature here because we didn't add anything. Okay, let's have as it is now. Let's try to run this application in IoT Edge. So I'm going to bring this application a little bit. So IoT app.js, then uncomment this stuff. Okay. Okay, so this one is run. Now what I am going to do is in docker file app.js, it's copying npm install production. We need to do the client also. I'm just wondering, like I'm I'm thinking of like bringing dashboard into IoT Edge modules, since okay, I'm just thinking probably I need some more time on this stuff. Okay, let's keep as it is. So I'm going to think like how to create a single application for the module, right? So we will continue this one in our next stream Wednesday. So today what we have seen is like we have added this temperature module, and we are trying to create a dashboard for the temperature sensor. So let's keep as it is right now, and we will continue in the next stream. Okay, till then, see you guys. If you get a chance to look at these videos later, come by and stop by and do a chat. Let's have a network, and we will learn together on this IoT Edge solution. Thank you, and thanks a lot. Have a good night, guys. See you.